Okay, here we go. First card, Arcane Giant.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen this card before?
Yes.
Okay.
So 12 mana, neutral card, epic. Cost 1 less for each spell you've cast this game. So you need to cast at least 2 spells for it to be playable. And you could card. Is it a good card? Actually, I don't know.
No.
12 spells for it to be like nothing.
So the likelihood of drawing 12 spells, that's what you have to know, right? Because even you're never gonna play a deck that is full of spells in this card, at least not now. So usually you play like maybe 14 spells in the deck if you have a lot of spells. Like in Miracle Rogue, you play like 17 or something. And so the chance of drawing a spell for every draw you have is like 50% basically. Starting, and then yeah, you know, it decreases overall. But the chance of drawing like 12, or like how many spells do you need to have played to make this good first?
You need 7 at least.
Okay. So if you need 7, you need to have drawn half your spells. And what turn do you need this to be good at? Or what turn do you want to play this on?
Turn 3.
Yeah, you want to play it on like, you actually, like in reality, I think you want to play it as on like turn 4 or something. If you're playing a deck where you can play this in, right?
Turn 5 could be good enough, but then the question is, in what kind of decks do you use so many spells? It could be like Freeze Mage, but there it just does make no sense at all. Fair. It could be Rogue, Yogg Druid, and Tempo Mage, basically.
I know those decks you also don't care. In Tempo Mage, it was way too slow, I figured, because that's what I felt it had the most impact in, but in that it's just too slow. In a Miracle Rogue, the only way you get that many spells is if you cycle with Auctioneer, and if you're cycling with Auctioneer, you already win.
Yeah.
You don't need like a 0 mana card.
Yeah, especially not a minion.
Yeah, especially not a minion. If it was like like I've seen cards like this in other card games that are like 4/2s with charge, and then if you play 4 spells, you get to play it for free and stuff. But this card doesn't have any impact on the board. That's the main problem, because the card mechanics should be really strong, right? Because you can play it for free. But the card just does nothing when you play it. It's just an 8/8. That's the main problem.
Yeah, I think if it was like 2 mana less, it would be useful in Tempo Mage, but I don't really know.
Yeah, because in Tempo Mage, how many spells do you play? You play like the same as Miracle Rogue, right?
I actually don't. Wait.
Should do the numbers on how likely it is. But I feel like it's really unlikely, so maybe I shouldn't.
It depends on the lists. But maybe you can do a list with like double mirrors, double missiles, double arcane. Still, it's not good. I think the card won't see play at all.
I don't think so either. But it could be cool in the future though, if because you can actually make decks around this. It's just right now you.
Yeah, but it's not worth giving up all creatures in game to play.
But if there's a deck in the future that where, like in Hunter for example, you can only run spells or something like that, because you can almost do that with Hunter now. You can just almost run all spells in Yogg Load. Then you can maybe play this, but it's like really far-fetched.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think the card is bad in general.
I think it's bad.
It's
I think if you look at it first, it's kind of good, but the more you think about it, the worse it becomes.
Yeah, exactly. Because at first I looked at it, so I was like, "Whoa, this can be cool," and then you look at it for like 5 minutes, and you're like, "Wow, this is really bad."
Oh, the picture is cool.
Yeah. Pictures.
Okay, next one.
Giants.
Moonglade Portal. Obviously a druid card.
Oh, it's that card.
Restore 6 health, summon a random 6 cost minion for 6 mana. Restore 6 health. Summon. A random 6 cost minion. How many 6 cost minions are there?
Well, that's what you have to look at first. I actually didn't do that. I just concluded that it was good even without looking at them.
It's just good.
But you can look at the 6 drop. If people are wondering how good it is and they don't believe that it's good just by looking at it, then you can look at all the 6 drops and then...
Yeah, let me check. I'll start the game. Let's see how many 6 drops are there. Are there any new good 6 drops in the new expansion?
No, not good ones. Okay, there one. But there's a lot of good 6 drops in this game. Like, the 6 drops in this game is probably the best slot in the game.
Okay, you can get Dark Arakoa, which is like insanely broken. You can get Savannah Highmane, which is even more insanely broken. You can get Faceless Summoner, which is basically a 5/5 creature. A 4/5 creature, 6/6 creature. Kidnapper is maybe the worst one. It has 5/3, 6/5, 5/5, 6/6, 5/4 effect. Bad effect. Or you can get like all of these. Corrupted Seer is by far the worst. Justica Trueheart is also bad. So basically you will get a 5/5 creature approximately. Yeah. So
and sometimes you can get it even better as well. So it's a 5/5, but it also has potential of being huge upside. And I think the huge upside outweighs the downside, right?
Yeah.
Because you're cheating mana no matter what if you're getting a 5/5. Because healing for 6 is worth like 2 mana, and a 6 mana card is, or 5/5 is worth like 4.5. So you're cheating a half mana.
Yeah, and this card, it also heals you for 6, which is sick.
Yeah.
Because you don't need to run Feral Rage anymore in Druid then.
Yeah, and that was one of the problems that Druid had actually, I think.
And it fits the Druid class perfect, because you don't have a good 6-drop at the moment for Druid. So what they do is like fill out the curve for the mid-range deck and giving you a value card that heals at the same time. It's basically a way better healing bot. Healing bot was 5 mana, heals 8 and gives you a 3/3. This is 6 mana, gives you most likely a 5/5, sometimes even better, sometimes a little bit worse, and heals you for 6.
Yeah, but the main thing is also it can heal taunts. And in Druid, you very often want to heal taunts. You want to heal the Ancient of War.
Yeah.
Or the 5 mana card, Druid of the Claw.
Like okay, very so I think this card is kind of broken.
Nah, I don't think it's broken. So I don't think healing effects can be that broken. But I think it's really good. But I don't want to use the word broken on a healing effect.
I don't want to use the word broken on any other card than the Beast thing.
Oh yeah.
So it's this card is pretty good and we'll see play at least one off.
Yeah, at least one off. Depends how much you need the healing effect.
Yeah.
I think one off is fine.
Okay, next one. Okay, let me just fix this. Okay, next card, Mode Lurker, 6 mana, 3/3, Battle Cry. Destroy a minion, Death Rattle, resummon it. What the fuck?
Yeah.
So it eats it, and then if it dies, it just spits it out again.
Pretty much.
Oh, War Chicken. Thanks a lot. Someone from Reddit did the math on the Moonglide portal.
How much does it cheat on average? Average attack 4.9. Yeah, that's pretty much 5 attack. Average health 5.11, so it is a 5/5 on average.
Yeah, in average it's a 5/5. That's what we. Yeah. This card what can you do with it? You can play it in Xzirez decks. There it makes sense, but it's slow as hell. On the other hand, it will just eat a enemy minion. I have no clue if this is good.
If you eat an enemy minion, the problem with this card when I was doing, or when I was talking about it another time, was that it's 6 mana.
Yeah.
If the card was any other mana, it might have seen play, but 6 mana is just like a tiny bit too much. Because the effect isn't strong enough to value, or to make it a 3/3. Like, I think this card is like, it's so bad that it will never see play, even though the effect is so strong, or is so like unique. Because the stats are just so crappy, and the mana cost is like, so crappy. But if it had like 1 more health, or it cost 1 less mana, it might have seen play.
The problem is, do you ever want to play this over a hard removal?
No.
No.
You don't want to use this as a hard removal. You have to use it on your own minions.
So you could use it on... It destroys a minion and it resummons it. So battle cry effects will trigger twice.
Yeah.
The minion gets resummoned and then battle cry effects on the minion trigger again, right? Or not?
It should, because it's summon, and battle cry is a summon effect.
So it would not only work in a deck that's built around Dash Rattle, but also around Battle Cry. Are there any good mechanics with Battle Cry? I don't think so. Yeah, Own Sylvanas is the first thing that pops into my mind.
I know. It's what Reddit says as well, but like, it's so far-fetched.
Yeah, and it's no curve.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I said, like, if it's just better costed or better statted or anything, I could see play, but it's just
combo with Purify.
Yeah.
Okay, they just printed the card to buff Purify.
Yeah, of course. It's the best one. Like, really, what do you want to do with this? I know, because it's so unique that it could see play, but the problem is just, what do you want to do with it?
Battlecry is a play effect, not a summon effect. Ah, yeah, okay, I see. I was like,
okay, that doesn't
normally
matter, so no battlecries.
No battlecries, okay. Okay, I think it's a fun card and it will see play at rank 15 and above in fun decks.
Yep. We'll see.
But it's an interesting card.
It's an interesting card, but I really think if they costed it a bit better, I could have seen play and I could have done something.
Maybe you can play it in Reno decks as a one-off in an Xzirez Reno deck.
No, why would you? It's like you're paying 6 mana for something that dies to Wrath. Even if it removes the minion, he just Wraths it, or he plays Fire War Axe.
Yeah, how about the cartoon deck? No, it won't work. Because if your cartoon lives 1 round, it just doesn't matter. You don't need it, it's a win more card.
I don't understand the design.
Okay, let's move on to the next card.
Okay, sure. I'm still struggling with that card because I don't know. It could be used somehow, but I don't know. It is bad though, that's for sure.
Okay, next card, Avian Watcher, 5 mana, 3/6. Let me just fix it. Rarity is rare. Battlecry, if you control a secret, gain +1/+1 and taunt. So if you have a secret, then 4/7 taunt for 5 mana, which is kinda good stats wise, right?
Yeah. If you have a secret, then it's the same card as Druid of the Claw. Pretty much. Because Druid of the Claw can also charge, right? So the 1 extra health is pretty much the same as the choose 1 effect.
So you could play it in Mage, Hunter and Paladin.
Not Hunter.
Hunter not.
You have to run it in or in a mage with ice block.
You could play it in a defensive mage. You could run it in secret paladin, and you could play it in lock and load hunter, because you play like a lot of secrets, which are all like not the best decks in the world.
Yeah. The only deck that I think it can see play in is control mage with double ice block. But that deck won't work because you don't have healing.
Yeah, you could play it in some sort of Reno mage, but then the problem is that you don't have enough secrets. I don't think that 2 secrets are enough to trigger this card.
You want to play 2 ice blocks always, then you have to play 1 or 2 extra secrets in this deck, because you're probably also playing the Valid card, the 2 mana card that we can talk about later. But that deck will never work in this meta. I know people are rating the secret cards kind of high because they're kind of good, all these cards that have synergy with secrets. But you will never be able to make a deck like this after the expansion. That's the main problem.
Yeah. I wonder why it's no beast. It looks like a beast. If it was a beast, you could play it in hunter, right?
Yeah, you actually could. Maybe it's because they just wanted to make the card art be on the same power level as the card. So they made it really bad with the art, and then they made the card really bad as well. That could make sense in this expansion, actually, because some of the cards that have better art are actually the better cards. If that's their way of thinking, then I understand this whole set as well.
So redbirds aren't strong.
No.
In Hearthstone, okay. Okay, so we can move on.
Yeah.
So depending, this card has like... Is this artwork good? I don't know.
This artwork is pretty good, I think. So this could be a good card. Like...
It's a demon. Oh, that's interesting, by the way. Prince Malkazar. 5 mana, 5/6, demon, neutral card, legendary. When the game starts, add 5 extra legendary minions to your deck. This card is... I was reading some things because it was like the first published card. I think it's a really bad card.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think it's really bad. Because I didn't do math on the average of a legendary, but I looked at all the legendaries you can get, and there's so many bad ones. I concluded that it's like under 50, or it's over 50% that you get a useless legendary.
Let's look at the game.
If you're getting 5, it means on average you're getting like half of them are bad legendaries, right? Or more than half of them are bad legendaries if it's 5. So you're filling your deck with like 3 point something cards that are bad.
So legendary, here we go. We have a ton of legendaries. The class legendaries are most of the time kinda okayish. We have really good ones here. But the problem are the many neutral legendaries. And there are some really bad ones. But most of the time you just get a big minion. I mean, we do see it with...
You can look at it, what Justicar gives you. Then you can think of it in that way. But the problem is that you're also drawing these cards. So if you get a bad legendary, you're punished a lot more than what you are with Justicar. Yeah,
and the problem is it's always bad to play a bigger staple than your opponent unless you're a concede deck. Which is interesting because it might give other concede decks the power to beat concede warriors.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well.
I think this is interesting because this card isn't designed for a control warrior. It's designed for control decks in general.
Yeah.
And other control decks profit more than the warrior does from it. Because
I think you can look at the card like you are doing now, but the problem, like if you're to put it in the current meta, because usually that's what people do, right? And say if it's going to see play in the upcoming month, then it probably won't, because the meta is just going to be so aggressive. Because you still have no healing in the game, right? But in general, it's not a bad card, because like you said, it can make other decks beat Control Warrior.
So this card is designed to buff control decks versus control warrior.
Yeah, or just control, or just give them an option to beat control decks in general if they want to, I guess.
Can you add it in mid-range decks? You can only play it in control decks. It doesn't make any sense to add it in mid-range decks. It will destroy your card and your curve.
Depends. Like if Control Warrior is really dominant, then you can play this in mid-range decks as well.
Hey, danke für den Host, Quersks. Lieben Dank dir. Hoffe, bei dir ging noch gut weiter mit Top 100. In general, it's a bad card. It might see play in the future when the meta shifts in Control Priest, lol. But
yeah, it's misplaced. It should have been in a different expansion if they wanted to see play now.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't want to. Maybe just wanted to make it because they're like, sure, why not?
It's a fun card, and I think it also targets players that don't have many legendaries yet.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
This card would be perfect for a free legendary card. Because if you play the game on a casual level, this is probably the best card design you can get, because every game differs from the other games you played. Because and you get so many mighty cards you can play without owning them. I think this card for a certain type of player is like the perfect card. They should have given it for free like they did it with Cartoon. Cartoon wasn't the right card to give it for free to all players. This card is the right card.
Yeah, it's actually a really good way of looking at it.
Misplay Blizzard, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, next one.
That in the future. Yeah, next one.
Priest of the Feast. 4 mana, 3/6 priest card. Whenever you cast a spell, restore 3 health to your hero. Cast a spell.
Do you think?
I think it's a powerful card, but it's not good, and the priest does have heal. It's not the thing priest needs.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. It's a really good card, but it's a priest card, and it's a priest card that priest doesn't need. Like if it was a priest card a priest needed, it would be much better, but you don't need this. But it's a really good card. Like a 3/6 for stats is super good for priest, as we've seen in the past, because people are even running the neutral Cartoon thing just in normal priest, because it has a 3/6 stats distribution, and the ability is super strong against aggro.
It's auto win against aggro, because basically it has 3/6 taunt and will heal like for 3 or 6. It's insane. Healing wise, or against aggro decks, to just put it into your deck. Maybe they...
It's a really good card, but it's not gonna make priest playable again, but it's a super strong card.
I think in tournaments priest will see play with this card, because it beats shaman and... yeah, and what else? The problem is that the strong decks at the moment are mid-range decks, and they won't change it because of the Beast Druid.
And this card doesn't help against Beast Druid, or it's hard to deal with, but it's too slow.
Does it help you against Dragon Warrior, stats-wise?
Yeah, I think so. Because the 5/4 can't kill it. And it trades into Alexstrasza's champion. And it heals you in the late game.
And Karazhan Elite, yeah.
Yeah, and Karazhan Elite. You can't like ping and then Karazhan Elite into it or something.
Okay, so basically I think this card will see play if priest sees play.
Yeah.
Which is the main question.
Yeah, that's the main question.
let's move on.
I don't think priest will. Yeah, let's move on.
A Deadly Fork. 3 mana, 3/2. It's a rogue card, and it has Death Rattle, add a 3/2 weapon to your hand. And I know that the weapon costs 3 mana. So basically it's a really bad card.
Yes.
That's probably the worst card you can get.
Moros is pretty bad as well.
I don't know that.
Okay, you can see it later.
We'll see
I actually don't think it's the worst card of the expansion.
It's not? Oh my god.
It's undercosted by 2 mana or something. Just crazy. But I don't think it's the worst card of the expansion. There's actually a card that is more undercosted even more.
You get a card draw basically, which is a weapon. As a rogue, where you have like Deadly Poison, which basically does the same.
Yeah.
For the same amount of mana. Hero power plus Deadly Poison. So it gives you Deadly Poison, basically.
Yeah.
3 mana, 3/2, draw Deadly Poison.
Still bad. It should have been a 3/3.
Yeah, the stats are just... Even for a 2-drop, the stats aren't good. The stats are worth like below 1.5 mana, I guess.
They're worth like 1.5.
Around that. But 2/3 is better in the current meta.
Yeah.
Or no, it's actually not.
It doesn't die to Living Roots. It doesn't die to pings and ghouls and stuff from Dragon Warrior. It also trades better.
Maybe the card isn't that bad, but it's still not good.
It's not like the worst card in the world, but it's really bad. If it gave you Deadly Poison, it would have been better, by the way, because Deadly Poison is more flexible. Yeah, and it's also a spell.
And it only costs 1 mana, yeah. Okay, so, bad card. Move on. Silverware Golem. Yeah, here we go. 3 mana, 3/3. If you discard this minion, summon it. I heard that in Yu-Gi-Oh! I never played it, but effects like that were there in the game, and they were like insanely broken.
Yeah,
I heard.
It's because you could pick the cards in your hand to discard. Yu-Gi-Oh! Had the... from what I heard, I didn't play much Yu-Gi-Oh! But from what I heard about Yu-Gi-Oh! All the Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards, you could pick what you wanted to discard, and then they had a lot of cards like these in the game. I've seen a lot of cards linked to my chat that look like these.
Okay. I think it's a very good card.
Yeah.
Because this card will buff your other cards. And if you have a card that buffs Doomguard, it's always a good card. And we will see other cards with the discard mechanic. And discard lock will be a strong deck in my opinion. Without building lists yet, but just by looking at it, I think it will be strong, and Silverware Golem will perfectly fit into it, because it gives you so much tempo. Because if this creature triggers, it's tempo-wise almost or even better than Alistra's Champion. And we all know how broken Alistra's Champion is. Especially in a faster deck, because the deck you'll be playing it in is faster, so tempo is even more valuable in this deck.
Oh yeah, also Yu-Gi-Oh! He said Yu-Gi-Oh! Effects because broken because he had a graveyard, that's true. And also there were cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! That were all the cards in your graveyard, you take them out of your graveyard and you re-summon them, for example. So that was... That's probably more the reason why this card mechanics were broken, actually.
Okay, so we can't really compare it to Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah, you can't.
Okay. I think it's a really good card. It will see you play in discard lock twice. I'm not sure you could even play it once in a normal Zulog with double Doomguard, because you will draw into double Doomguard or into 1 Doomguard and then you will get it for free.
I think you can just play normal Sulok as discard luck. You can just scratch a lot of the discard cards. Like, you don't have to play that many discard cards. And then just play, like, the good discard cards, like the 2-mana 3/2, Soulfire and Doomguard. And then play this card, and then you have a good deck, I think.
I think it's completely fine if you just play one Soulfire, double Doomguard. It's only 3 cards, but you will draw into them.
Yeah.
Because you cycle a lot of cards and you draw a lot of cards.
I think you want to play 2 Soulfires though, no matter what.
Yeah, that's true. Like, but even with one Soulfire and double Doomguard, you could still play it, I guess.
Yeah.
Which shows how broken this card is, because it only gets better the more discard effects you play.
I heard people that rated it badly, and I know why they rated it badly, but to explain why I think it's good, it would take such a long time that I don't think I want to do it.
If it triggers, you not only get a 3/3 for free, but you don't discard a card.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you play Soulfire and you don't discard a card, it's insanely broken. If you play Doomguard and you discard like only one card, it's insanely broken. And on top of it, you get a 3/3 for 0 mana, which is also insanely broken. This will just like immediately win you the game. This card is really, really strong.
Yeah, and I don't understand. I mean, I don't understand why people say it's bad. I understand the argument, but to me, it's just... I don't get why they can look at it that way.
It's
I
like...
think it's insane.
It's like playing Dragon Warrior with all the yellow cards. You just play 3 yellow cards. Basically, this is like a really huge yellow card if it triggers. And that's how you win games in Hearthstone at the moment. Sad story. End of story. Next card?
Yeah, next card.
Maelstrom Portal. 2 mana, Shaman card. Deal 1 damage to all enemy minions. Summon a random 1-cost minion. Deal 1 damage to all enemy minions. So basically it's an Arcane Explosion which summons you a 1-cast minion. So let's take a look at the 1-cast minions. Forbidden Ancient is a 1/1. Brave Archer, Firebird are the... Mana Worm is most likely the best one.
Right, did you get a new microphone?
Yeah.
Which one do you have?
A Yeti.
Oh, okay, nice.
2/1, 2/1, 1/2. I won't do the math on it, but...
You don't have to either. The average is a 2/1. It should always be a 2/1.
Yeah, 2/1.
Or it should be a 2/1 point something because of the because some are a bit stronger, but it should be in general.
Oh, it's
like
a quality.
Rounded down to a 2/1.
And there are not many cards with a downside. Maybe Tentacle of Ensword is the only one. So it's not risky at all. Tempo wise, it's a good card, but also not because it's an AoE. Shaman Spell Power. Is it good? I don't think it's a good card. I think it's a good card itself, but you don't need it.
Yeah, exactly. With Spell Power, it's really good, obviously. And you can make it... It's like... Arcane Explosion almost sees play now.
Yeah.
I think.
Arcane Explosion sees kind of play sometimes.
Yeah, and this card is Arcane Explosion, but it's balanced. Like Arcane Explosion costs like 0.75, and then this card probably costs like 1.10, 15, stuff like that. And then yeah, this should see play because it's actually a good card.
Will you play it over the Lightning Storm?
Yeah, that is the question. And you
I don't
won't.
think so.
No, you won't.
You won't, so it won't see play, but you always
won't see play, but it could see play if Shaman changes somehow. Like right now, you wouldn't want to see it played, but if you can play Control Shaman, which you kind of can now, but Control Shaman doesn't really need this card. But if you could play a Control Shaman that looks differently, you would be able to play this card.
Yeah, the problem is you have like the huge AoE, which says kill everything, or almost everything. You have the Lightning Storm, which only costs 1 mana more. It has Overload, okay, that's the downside. But it says like kill like a lot of minions. and you have this one that says kill almost no minion. So you have 2 better cards to play, so it won't see play most likely.
But it's a good card.
Yeah. It's a good card, but it's not strong enough, most likely. Okay, 1/3, 2 mana, Nether Spite Historian. Battlecry, if you're holding a dragon, discover a dragon. So discover mechanics are pretty strong, as we all know. And if you're holding a dragon, which will happen most of the time, tempo-wise it's a bad card, value-wise it's a really good card. Tempo-wise it's not. So you could play it in control dragon decks to add additional value to your deck and additional answers, like playing some legendaries twice or some dragons 3 off. I think it's a good
that there will be a new meta, and almost never include the new cards while evaluating new cards. The problem is that there won't be a new meta after the expansion, because there is no cards that will change the meta in this expansion. So usually when I do my reviews, I usually evaluate them not in a meta, but in this expansion you can really just evaluate them in the same meta, because the meta won't change.
Yeah. Will you play this creature in Dragon Warrior in the fast one? Most likely not, because you have Fiery YX and Alistra's Champion in the same slot. Will you play this in... Actually it buffs the Dragon Priest.
It's just bad. It won't see play.
It's
not a bad card, but okay, so if I wanted to talk about it in general, if I don't look at the current meta, which I've done this so many times in the past, but the problem is that the meta doesn't change if there's no like huge card that has a real impact on the game, which I don't think there is in this set. But if you want to evaluate it just in general, if the meta changes, then yes, the card is really good in control, because you can get a dragon that is good against the deck that you're playing against, because there's enough dragons now that are saturated, so you can get a dragon that targets something. But the downside of it is that it's a 1/3 for 2 mana, so in the current way the game works, Tempo Stone, in Tempo Stone it doesn't work. In Controlled Stone it works.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And most of the time you will get like a really big value minion out of the 3. There aren't so many dragons.
How many are there? No, there's the thing is there's okay. I know I did this before, but I can do it one more time. Okay, dragons. Generally the thing with this card is that, wait, what? Oh, it said dragons, not dragon.
4, 5, 6.
The thing is, you will get a choice between. Why am I still not getting the dragon? Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, I know what you mean, Dan in Blue. Usually I would do that as well, but right, I just don't feel like it's valuable to do that, because now that we have standard, we don't have healing anymore, so the meta won't be control ever, because there isn't any healing in this expansion, so it's just a waste of time to review them when there is no healing in the set. If there was healing in the set, and you can review them in a different way, but when
Druid got healing.
Realistically, yeah, but I mean, okay, you can play the card in control Dragon Druid actually.
Yeah, yeah. Dragon Druid should be kind of good.
Yeah, I didn't think about that actually. It's good that you said that. Yeah, actually, Dragon Druid could really be a thing after this expansion, because of Bookworm as well. Didn't think about that. And in that deck, you could actually make it see play. Because in that deck, you probably just won't value minions a lot of times, and then you have an extra chance of getting another Bookworm, which that card I think is just insane in Druid.
And it will just beat Control Warrior, because Control Druid was always the best against Control Warrior, and this buffs it also.
Yeah.
In addition, maybe like Dragon Control Druid could be a thing.
Yeah, it could.
And
Actually, kind of likely.
And I'm not sure if you need to play Maligos in it. You could.
Probably
I tried to build a deck. Because like I've seen deck lists also on Legend, on top 100 Legend. Rarely. For tournaments, it could be like pretty good because everyone will play Beast Druid, right? Or Token Druid. So you could add a control deck to your lineup as well. So you could run Control Shaman, Control Druid, and Control Warrior.
Yeah, you could actually. For ladder, it's irrelevant because Beast Druid is just better, right?
Yeah.
But for tournament play, it's actually... I mean, it's not irrelevant because people don't always want to play the best deck, and sometimes there's merit to play a deck that isn't the best deck because the meta is different, right? But for tournaments, it's really interesting. I think Beast Druid can really be a thing.
Dragon Druid.
Yeah, Dragon Druid. Obviously, Beast Druid, Dragon Druid.
Yeah, and do you want to play it in back to the card? Do you want to play it in a Dragon Druid? I'm not too sure because it's a 2-drop and you always want to play a Wild Growth, but still I think it's fine.
What I realized when I played the Beast Druid with Wild Growth and the 2-drop is that if you have another 2-drop, you have a lot more consistency on your 2-mana curve.
And the good thing is, I tried to build a deck and I had to play one Fairy Dragon. Because there aren't too many good dragons. And this card is pretty good because it will give you a dragon that activates all other dragon stuff.
Yeah, so but you also have to have a dragon in hand first.
Yeah. If you're holding... yeah, sure. So, yeah, okay.
Actually, now that you mentioned Fairy Dragon, I think it's irrelevant again. Never mind.
Okay. Let's go.
But yeah, it's like a decent card. I don't think it's too good, but it's not too bad either. But it's probably irrelevant for this expansion.
It's an interesting card, deck building wise.
Yeah.
Babbling Book. 1 mana, 1/1. Battle Cry. Add a random mage spell to your hand. Random mage spell. Oh gosh. All these random effects.
Yeah, it's fun. Someone did the stats on Reddit on this card, and 60% of the time it gives you a bad card against aggro, and 40% of the time it gives you a bad card against control.
So against control, it's a really good deck card.
Yep, which
and against aggro, it's not. It's also a good card because it's a 1/1. It fills out your 1 mana curve because normally you...
Aggro at the moment plays Finley and Tonal Shrug.
Okay, so it's a bad card against aggro.
Yeah, it's a bad card. It's just, in general, it's just a bad card. Because 60% of the time it gives you a bad card, and then the 1/1 is irrelevant in the current meta because the aggro decks have power crept so much in the early game that they have 1/3s and 2/3s and 3/3s on 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And 3/4s.
So a 1/1 is worth like nothing in the current meta, and just add a random mage spell to your hand is... I think it's only good in fun decks built around Yogg-Saron to get even more spells.
Yeah, sounds decent.
Sounds decent, okay. Next card.
We'll play that. Whoa, I just...
What? Swashbuckler. It's a pirate, it's 1/1, it costs 1 mana, and it's a rogue card. Battlecry, add a random class card to your hand from your opponent's class. Oh, this word random. It happens a lot to Hearthstone cards lately.
Yeah, it's a trend, I heard.
I think it's a good card. Or wait, let me see. Because nowadays you play the 1/1 in like Tempo Miracle Rogue. And this card should be better. Although I'm not too familiar how good the add a random class card to your hand is. But it's basically the same card than the other raw card.
This card is good, I think, as well.
It's basically the same than under City Huckster, but...
Yeah, but it's also Battlecry.
It's Battlecry, so it's way better.
I don't think it will see play though, but I think it's a good card.
I think it will see play. Because
So.
why wouldn't you play this over Arch and Squire?
I wouldn't play Arch and Squire either.
Okay, but people like Life Coach are playing Arch and Squire, and like Life Coach isn't a bad player.
Yeah, of course.
So.
Oh, I didn't even know he was playing Arch and Squire. I haven't been paying much attention. But yeah, I think it's a good card. If they're playing Arden Scar, then you probably just replace this with Arden Scar, and then you play this instead.
Yeah, exactly.
Class cards are really strong, so
and
yeah, why not?
The best part about it buffs the Wolfgang Pirate Rogue.
Oh yeah, of course.
Easy
I didn't
play.
think about that. You have to contact Wolfgang.
Wolfgang, core Wolfgang. We got a pirate in here. It actually is a decent pirate.
Yeah.
Does it matter? Or are pirates just... Okay.
Pirates are out because you don't have the 2-mana cannon.
Okay, I see.
Yeah. I think it's irrelevant though in terms of how games are going to play out mostly. But I think you can play it over Arden Scar.
Yeah, I think it will see play. Fett am Bauch verlieren? Okay, why? Gosh.
What is it?
Yeah, the advertise, the Mozilla advertise says that my belly is fat.
Okay.
Maybe it's just like cross-linked to all the pizza requests I do.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. Picked up all the cookies from the pizza restaurants.
Yeah.
You have to change lane now, by the way.
Yeah, okay. Here we go.
Random. Don't worry, guys. There's gonna be more random cards. You guys can have more fun.
More random? Why? Why is Blizzard doing this to us?
It's like random. Because, you know, once a few years ago, Bobby Fischer said, this is what Ben Brode quotes every time he talks about random. Bobby Fischer said something that Ben Brode took completely out of context. He said that if chess had he made the Bobby Fischer chess, which was with random starting lanes.
Yeah.
And every single time they ask Ben Brode about RNG, he just quotes Bobby Fischer on the starting lanes, even though I'm not sure if Ben Brode actually knows what Bobby Fischer made.
It's a 960 chess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what it is too, but I don't know if Ben Brode knows, because when he quotes it, it's completely taken out of context most of the time.
The problem with the Bobby Fischer chess, the 960 chess, for all people that don't know it, in chess you have like a normal starting position, like always the same, which leads to certain moves in the beginning that are just the best moves, which is kinda boring for players. And Bobby Fischer took it, and both sides have identical lineups again, but they are just mixed up. But both have the same, so it's not like RNG, because like both people have the same RNG, so it's still fair. So you can't take it in Hearthstone context, because only one side is affected by RNG rolls, not both sides. It's like if every card had like give both players a random minion and it's the same minion, which doesn't happen in Hearthstone, so it makes no sense at all. But I don't know the quote from Ben Brode. Okay, carry on. Medivh the Guardian. Legendary card, neutral card, 8 mana, 7/7 Battlecry. Equip ATH, great stuff of the Guardian. Do we have it somewhere, the stuff?
It's a 1/3. It's a 1/3 weapon that does the same thing as Taurus' Summoning Stone.
As a summoning stone?
Yeah, Summoning Stone.
As Taurus Summoning Stone, it's called by the French player. Who did beat Neyman with the Summoning Stone. Okay, so it's a Summoning Stone. Wait, it has 1 attack and 3 life. The weapon, or? No.
Yeah.
1 attack, 3 life has the weapon, and it's a summoning stone. Does this use the life of the weapon when it works, or it's just like whenever you have it equipped?
No, it uses the life of the weapon once.
Ah, yeah, okay. So, but basically it's like a summoning stone.
Yeah, because you don't you rarely play more than 3 spells with Summoning Stone anyways.
It's even better than a Summoning Stone, because the Summoning Stone can get killed easily and a weapon can't. So really I think it's a really good card. I saw this posted on the German Facebook Hearthstone group, and most people said it's just not good, but I think it's a good card.
I don't read reviews anymore because I don't get much out of them, I feel like.
Yeah.
But I would think that this card would be set as from everyone to be good. Because it's split value. It's like Dr. Boom. It's the same concept, it just costs 1 more mana. Like really, I think it's the exact same power level as Boom, but it costs 8 instead of 7.
Yeah.
Like you can also attack with the staff if you're against aggro, which can be relevant sometimes.
I think this card is almost an auto-include in the slower versions of Tempo Mage. And it's most likely the most powerful card you can give a Tempo Mage to beat control decks, which is always the problem in Tempo decks, because you always want to build them faster and faster, but if you build them faster and faster, you can't kill control decks anymore. And this card gives you, deck building wise, a huge advantage, because you can build the deck faster while having this card in your deck and beat control decks.
Yeah.
So it buffs the power level that the Tempo Mage can have, like, insane. And we are only talking about the Tempo Mage. This is a neutral card. It can be played in other decks as well.
I think it's a very slow card, so I don't think many decks will play it now, but saying it's a bad card I think is super wrong. Because I think maybe after this expansion we might see like 2 or 3 decks play this card, since there's no healing for a lot of classes. But in general, even if it doesn't see that much play after this expansion, it is a super good card.
Yeah. Value-wise, it's a super good card. And normally you should have enough tempo in tempo decks, so it could be like... Because when we look at this card, is it better than Ragnaros in the tempo decks? Yes, it is. And Ragnaros is getting played.
Yeah. Yeah, it's also competing with Drag, that's the problem. But
I think it's better than Rag in most decks.
I think in most decks it actually is, which is weird to say because Drag is so overpowered. But the problem with Drag is that often on an open board it's bad. And it's also bad if it misses. If this card doesn't miss.
Imagine this card in a Druid.
Yeah, I know. The Druid was the deck that I was talking about last time as well. With this card.
Because people started including Ragnaros in the combo Druid nowadays. And I think this card is just way, way, way better than Ragnaros in Druid.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think this card will see play. And I think if this card works, because your deck is still fast enough, it will be insane.
Because the problem with Rag nowadays is that it's bad if it misses, and it's bad against decks that run a lot of small minions.
Yeah.
This card is not. Right?
I think it's a really good card.
Yeah, I don't know.
And there's some RNG in it. Yay!
Which is fun for everyone. So we'll probably see it play anyways.
Okay, next one. Bookworm. 6 mana, 3/6. It's a dragon. It's... Gosh, who painted this? It's like a dragon.
You don't... someone said about the last card, just address this before we move on. You can only play with like huge or what's it called? You can only play this card with spells that are costed really heavily, like 6 or 5+ spells or something in mana cost. But I don't think that's too true, and I think if you will play this in a deck, you will add more of those cards, just so you can get value out of it, right? And if you have a deck where you're not playing any 4 mana spells, then you obviously won't play this, but most of the decks in the game do play spells that are either 3, 4, or 5 mana, right? Except for like Sulog. Control Warrior plays Shield Block, you probably won't play it in Control Warrior though. Mage plays Fireballs and Arcane Intellect and the new Firelands Portal. Druid plays the new Portal card and...
Swipe.
Swipe.
And Mush.
And Nourish.
And
Mulch.
Wisps. This is maybe too greedy then.
Yeah, that's way too greedy, but, you know.
Okay.
Karazhan saying, let's just move on.
Yeah, so a dragon. The bookworm, 6-mana 3/6 dragon. Battle cry: if you're holding a dragon, destroy an enemy minion with 3 or less attack. 3 or less attack. That's actually a good card. Maybe it's a bit too expensive. It's a better Kodo. And it's another of those yellow cards we all love.
Yeah.
I think this is auto-include in Dragon Warrior. Because the problem with dragon decks is that you have to run big dragons, like 5-mana, 6-mana dragons, and you only have in the 6-mana slot, and you have to auto-include the Draconic Crusher, which is basically a bad card. So this card is better than Draconic Crusher, so it will see play.
But I don't know if it fits the game plan. I know it's better than Draconic Crusher, but I don't know if Draconic Crusher fits the game plan better. I haven't played Dragon Warriors, so I don't actually know.
You're kind of right, because it's still better for an aggressive deck to play a 6/6 than a 3/6, and if it's 9/9, it's still better, of course. I think for the tempo version, the other card is still better, but in a control version, this is insane.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say as well.
Yeah.
Because there is 2 Dragon Warriors. There's the one that goes face, and there's the one that doesn't go face. Or both goes face, but one of them doesn't go face as hard, I guess.
For our Dragon Druid, it's kind of bad, because like the 6-mana slot is filling up with OP cards.
Yeah, which is a problem. But I think even in Dragon Druid, you would play this, because if you innovate this, you win the game, right? You kill their teacher and then you develop a 3/6.
You play it on turn 4 and kill Fangela.
Yeah, and then it's like, wow, I can never come back because the tempo swing is so huge.
Yeah, and that's the good part about this card, why you play it, why it's like a perfect card in control decks. Because Kodo, it kills 2 attack minions, costs 1 less, and it's no dragon, it's a beast.
Also random.
And it's random. And 3 or less attack, it kills like everything.
Yeah, except for a Surdrake.
Except for a Surdrake. But the Surdrake is stats-wise not too dangerous most of the time. Okay, so it's a really good card.
Yeah.
Okay, Fool's Bane, 5-mana 3/4, unlimited attacks each turn, can't attack heroes.
Okay. Do you think it's good?
I can't say it. Let's think about it.
I think it's really bad. You can do the. You can talk about this card if you think it's good for a while, and then I can get something to drink.
And then you just say no.
Because because if you think it's good, then you can talk through it, and I think at the end you will realize that it's bad. Because at first when I looked at it, I was like, oh, this is really good, and I talked through it, and I'm like, wow, this card is really shit at the end.
Okay. So it's a gore hole, but it can clear your board. So basically it's an AoE, but you have to take all damage. You can only afford it. Is it good or bad to take all damage? 4 attacks, 3 attacks. So it's most likely very good if your opponent has like 3 or 4 minions that can die to it. So in this situation it's a perfect card, but it's still worse than Brawl, right? And it's the same amount of mana cost. But in some decks you would always run 3 Brawls. Maybe you can play it 1-off in addition to double Brawl. Still you're losing a lot of life. But if you only take the damage of the creature that would attack you anyhow, then it doesn't matter. Because you can clear the board. Okay, are you back?
Yeah.
I think it's worse than Brawl, but you could play it as an additional 3rd Brawl.
Remember, you have Gorehal.
Yeah, but Gohol is too slow.
Yeah, that's true. What deck does it target?
Decks that run minions with 3 or less health.
What decks are those at the moment?
Su sometimes.
How often do we see Su and why do we not see Sulux?
Because it loses to Warrior anyhow.
Yeah.
So basically...
if you can come up with another deck that this card is good against, then I will say it's a decent card.
Beastroot. Perhaps.
You still have to attack them twice.
If you have to attack them twice, it's not a good card, because tempo-wise it's just you taking too much damage.
Yeah, exactly. And then you're pretty much taking the same damage you would take from putting Gorehowl on 7, probably.
Reno Warrior.
You can play it in Tempo Warrior, maybe. But then it's really weak to Harrison. Your deck isn't weak to Harrison in general, so you're giving a deck that isn't weak to Harrison a deck that is really weak to Harrison.
I think it's a decent card. Card design wise it's interesting, and it will see play if the meta is good for it. That's basically it.
Yeah, I think so too. Because in general, if you're evaluating the cards not based on meta, then it's a good card because it can do a lot for 5 mana.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so much faster than the other cards, and it will board clear because you will take the damage of the creatures anyhow. If you just attack them once and kill them. If you have to attack them twice, it's not good. So this card is good if there are a lot of minions with 3 life or less, and really bad against everything that runs 4 health minions and above.
Yeah.
So it's good.
If the meta is more aggressive and not as much mid-rangey, then it's good, right? Because small minions are aggro, mid-range minions are not aggro minions. They're different, right? Do you get what I mean?
Pirate Warrior is in the chat. No, it's not good in Pirate Warrior because it's no face damage.
He had a smiley face at the end. Usually that means he's choking.
Yeah. Okay, next card. Ethereal.
Oh, and it's really good in Arena.
Oh yeah. In Arena it's probably the best card.
It's common. Yeah, we're not evaluating Arena. Move on.
Yeah. 5 mana for 6 rogue card. Battlecry, reduce the cost of cards in your hand from other classes by 2. Oh gosh. How likely is that the effect triggers? It's a Battlecry effect. I actually don't know how many. It's buffs Burgle, but nobody plays Burgle.
The chance of drawing a on-curve steal a minion now, if you're playing like not Burgle but the other two, is like 50, 60. It's about 60%, right? If you're playing off curve, it's bad. So if you play this on curve on turn 5, the chance that you will get value from this is like 20-something%, I guess.
Yeah, it depends 30? Because if you would run the new pirate, the 2-drop also.
Wait, which one? Peddler? No, I mean the squashbuckler thing.
Yeah, how it's called?
The 1 mana guy?
No, the 2 mana guy.
What? The 2 mana guy for Rogue?
Undercity Huckster.
Oh yeah. It's not a pirate. That's why I was confused.
Yeah. No pirates in there. Yeah, you would basically, where is it? Undercity Huckster profits from it, and the new pirate we just reviewed profits from it.
Main problem is it's a rogue card.
And basically it's just Burgle, Undercity, Huckster and the new 1-drop. So if you have a deck running Undercity, Huckster and the 1-drop twice each, it's a good card, but you don't play it at the moment. And even then it's not like...
It's a bad card.
Yeah. In general it's a bad card.
There's so many ways to explain why it's bad. Like, the cards that are random could be cards that you don't want to play on curve, so the mana reduction is relevant. Sometimes the cards you get are just bad, so you don't even want to play them. You have to get all these minions on curve with stealing a card, with them having died, either one of them, to steal a card, for it to reduce something. If you play it as a 5/6, it's bad. It doesn't fit in Rogue, because Rogue wants to do other things than just play a 5/6. They can play a Surge deck instead on the same mana curve.
I think they want to push play on curve Rogue.
Yeah, I don't think people will. I mean, people will probably play that Rogue eventually, I guess. People are already starting to play that Rogue, but I don't think this card will fit in that Rogue anyways.
Okay, just move on.
It has good stats, yeah, but the 5/6 for 5 mana also has good stats. It's his playing no decks.
No. Rogue is not the class that wants good stats on curve.
Yeah, exactly. If it was a different class, maybe.
Yeah. Silvermoon Portal. 4 mana, it's a paladin card. Give a minion +2/+2, summon a random 2-cost minion. Oh god, random minion. I don't want to look it up again.
This card is really bad.
Yeah, it's a buff for 2-cost minion. No, it's basically a piloted shredder, and it's a piloted shredder effect and +2/+2.
Yeah.
The effect is piloted shredder. We all know what happens with piloted shredders, and it's way too expensive to see play.
Yeah, and on the same mana curve you have Blessing of Kings, True Silver Champion.
Yeah,
exactly. You can just move on. The card is bad.
The 4 mana paladin slot is most likely the strongest slot in the whole game.
Yeah. There's so many good cards in that slot.
Yeah. Wicked Witch Doctor. 4 mana shaman card. Whenever you cast a spell, summon a random basic totem. So this is Tusker Totemic in bad.
Yeah.
Whenever you cast a spell.
Do you know what other card costs 4 mana, by the way?
7/7s.
Yeah.
You could play it in a totem deck. If you play Primal Fusion twice, Primal Fusion gives you a totem first, I think, and then Primal Fusion will become like insane in this deck.
Ah, yeah, that's true.
And
but it's stronger than a 7/7 and Aggro Shaman?
In a Totem Shami, it might be. Because you run the 3/6 that buffs your totems as well. You run the 5/5 thing from below. Like, I think Shaman in the meantime has enough cards to profit from totems enough. So it could see play in those decks. Only in this special deck. Oops.
This depends on how good that deck is going to be, but I think if you wanted to play a card that gives you tokens for 4 mana, do you know any other card that does the same thing? There's one card in the game that I think is just better than this card.
Yeah, it has to be some violet woman.
Yeah.
Draenei Totem Carver. Is this card good? Wait.
No.
Is Totem Carver good? Battlecry game +1/+1 for each friendly token. It's also in the 4 mana slot. Yeah. I think Primal Fusion will be insane with this, as well as the Thunderbluff Valiant and Thing from Below. And all these 3 cards are good enough to see play. So that's the only thing that I can imagine.
Yeah. I know why it can't see play. I just don't think it will, because I think the deck that it wants to see play in isn't better than existing decks. So
I'm not too sure, because I still think that the list Xixo was playing, the mid-range Totem Shami, is one of the strongest lists. I'm not sure if the card buffs the list enough to see play.
Yeah, it can actually, because you don't want to put the 7/7 in that deck.
Yeah, exactly.
But in that deck, you would play it. I mean, we might just get another. It's better in a mid-range shaman. This is better than the 7/7 because you don't want to disrupt your curve.
Yeah.
But you can also play Wild Teacher at the same time.
Yeah, but not in the totem.
Totems are better. Yeah.
I think it's an interesting card. It depends on. Basically, it depends on how many spells can you play in the totem deck.
Yeah.
That's basically it. I think it will see play in the totem deck if there are enough spells, and I think there will be enough.
Makes sense.
So I basically think in this deck it's a good card. In every other deck it's...
Evolution might be better than this.
Maybe. It depends, because you have the opportunity to refill your board with tokens.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad card, but I don't think it's too good either. I would give it like 6 or 7 out of 10 or something.
Yeah, it's hard to see because we can't really say how often this effect will trigger in those decks, because you had to test it, and it highly depends on how much triggers it, and if it triggers, how much will it buff your other cards.
Yeah.
Because it can go like crazy, and if it just goes crazy on a regular base, this card is OP in these decks.
Yeah, that is really true. If you cast 2 spells of this, you're getting 2 tokens on the board. And if you Primal Fusion, then it can get really out of hand really quickly.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a good card actually. When I did the first one, I thought it was a really bad card.
I think it's easy, or if you just look at it first, it's always a bad card. But I think when you find like the one spot where it's good in, it can be really broken. Okay, Morose, 3 mana 1/1, Stealth, legendary card. At the end of your turn, summon a 1/1 Steward. The 1/1 Steward, is there something special about it?
No, it just sucks.
It's just a 1/1. Yeah. Oh, hey, Game King. It won't see play. It's 3/4 mana. The other card has to survive 1 turn. Yeah, that's basically
but the thing is, what we did earlier was trying to review them from a meta standpoint, which is what you're doing now. And then in Blue said that was wrong, and then now we're trying to review them as if there's different meta, right?
Yeah, in the meta momentum, it's just this card is too slow because you can't hold it to like turn 6 or something. If you could hold it to turn 6 in these decks, it would be good. But yeah. It's you can't really say it because you would a lot. You need a lot of time to play test those decks. So Morose is just like an insanely bad card.
Yeah, no, that's the worst card in the set. I think it's worse than Fork. I would give it a 1 out of 10. Solid.
But the artwork is good, so your theory about artwork doesn't...
Oh, yeah, doesn't add up.
Oh, damn. No Illuminati in here.
I guess we can do an exception for this one, maybe. He's not shaved. That's bad. He has, like, some stubs in his hair isn't made and stuff, so... Yeah, it's a good artwork, though. Shit.
Destroyed. Violet Illusionist, 3 mana for 3, which is basically kinda okay stats. During your turn, your hero is immune.
Yeah.
So it's good in some demon decks that play Pit Lord, that live tap a lot in their own turns on turn 5, which doesn't fit the concept of those decks, so it's bad in those decks as well. You could play it with the weapon. We just saw the weapon. If you play both and you kill the entire board, your dream comes true, and it happens 1 out of 10 times.
Looking forward to Savich's streams after this expansion.
Yeah, I think it's good in... Oh, Game King, yeah, you're right, I guess.
Yeah, it's the same thing I said.
You were wrong about the artwork.
Oh, right. Doesn't add up.
I think it could see play in no. I think it's generally a bad card, but like weapon classes profit a lot from it.
Yeah, main thing with this card I think is that you can deny fatigue. Which in a deck where you want to mill someone would make sense. But those decks will not exist this year, maybe next year.
Yeah, and if you fatigue your opponent, your deck is built that you don't draw more cards than your opponent, so you don't need it.
Yeah.
Why would you?
Don't know.
It's maybe a good card in a fatigue versus fatigue deck, but even then it only denies one fatigue. So like every other card could be better in it as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just another irrelevant card.
Set-wise, it's really good. Maybe we'll see it in some form of Tempo Warrior, which is not... no, just no.
I don't think we will.
Because you don't need health in Tempo decks. That's the problem. Purify.
Yeah, it's bad. Purify, yeah.
2 mana, it's a white card, which means we won't see it at all. Silence a friendly minion, draw a card. I think it's the best card in this set. Meme-wise. Yeah. Meme-wise, it's the best card.
The artwork is...
exceptional.
The artwork is taken straight out of World of Warcraft, so it's not that good.
No, it's not good. It's just like... taking some random character from World of Warcraft, making a screenshot and add some green stuff on the bottom.
Yeah.
Right?
Pretty much.
It's just what happened to this card. And that's not the worst part that happened to this card.
Yeah. It was also made, that's the worst part I think. But yeah.
Golden Purify. Is there any situation where this card is good?
No.
Because you have so many silence effects in Priest, why would you need an additional one?
No, it's bad. You just move on. We're taking a long time on some of the cards. Just move on, it's so bad.
But you could play like an aggro silence Priest with the 7/7s? Anyone? It's the Unicorn Priest? No? Okay.
Yeah.
Pompous the Spiren. 2 mana 3/2 taunt, so we'll never see the 2/2 Frostwolf Grunt or however he's called anymore. Is it a good card? I think it's an okay card. And okay cards won't see play.
No, it won't see play.
Because it's just worse than a Doomsayer for control decks, and for aggro decks it's just not worth playing it. The only thing, is Bolster still a thing?
Yeah, it is. But that doesn't really matter. But mainly, the thing about it is it's not a class card. And you want your 2-drops to be class cards, because you want to power creep in the early turns, right?
Yeah, you can either play this or Fiery Voyax and Alestra as champion.
Yeah. It's bad.
Okay. Enchanted Raven. It's 1 mana, it's 2/2, it's a beast, and it's a druid beast.
Yeah.
Basically, it's
a beast druid.
A beast druid.
Yeah.
It's a really good card in beast druid.
Yeah.
Because you can play turn 1, Enchanted Raven, turn 2, buff it 2/2 and draw a card, which is like playing...
3 mana, 4/4, draw a card.
Yeah, which is just like playing an Azure Drake.
Yeah.
In turn 2. Which has charge. Okay. Yeah.
And the Beast Druid, because of this card, has to be aggressive. Because this card is an aggressive card. So the Beast Druid that would be the best should be an aggressive Beast Druid.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I think so.
Well, Game King. Okay, really good card. Move on to the next. Up to down, so we start here. So we saw half of the cards now. Firelands Portal, 7 mana. 7 mana. Mage card, deal 5 damage, summon a random 5 cost minion. Oh, random. It has to be a good word. Is it a good card? I read that most people say it's a good card. Random 5 cost minion, I actually don't know. Do you have the numbers on it?
On average, it power creeps 1.25.
It power creeps 1.25. So it's worth 8 mana something.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good card.
Yeah. It's like one of the best cards from the set, I think.
Okay. Deal 5 damage. 5 damage is also an interesting number for mage, because you have ways to deal like 3 damage, 6 damage. Sometimes. Yeah. So it's
You don't have that much late game in Tempo Mage anymore, because they took Dr. Boom out. Now you have a pretty good late game that is also a tempo card. So it makes sense.
And you need a card to buff Medivh.
Yeah. Actually, it's actually true. Like, no joke.
Yeah, play Medivh and this, and you just win the game.
Yeah, how many? Wait, how did your board look after that? I just want to try and imagine it.
You have a 7/7, you have a random 7 drop, and you have a random 5 drop, and you kill another creature with 5 damage. You have to play it off curve, or you just ping.
Oh, you can also frostbolt the face afterwards.
Yeah, frostbolt face first to show dominance.
Yeah.
And then you get a 2-drop creature as well from Medivh. Okay.
It's really good. Right. I heard some pro players said this is bad, but like 90% of them said it was just overpowered.
It's a power creep card as a spell, and I think it's good because it's a spell and a creature at the same time.
Yeah, which is always good.
Which is, if you play one card, you remove another card, and you get a big minion at the same time. It's always good. It's like a huge Blackwing Corruptor.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same thing which went for the Bookworm card, kind of, I think.
Yeah, exactly. I think they were called 187 cards in Magic. Because it gives you card advantage and tempo advantage, so it gives you value and tempo. I think it's a good card.
187, yeah.
Ivory Knight. Battlecry discover spell. Paladin card. It's yellow. Oh. 6 mana for 4. Discover a spell, restore health to your hero equal to its cost. So I would compare this card to Azure Drake and Healbot. Discover a spell. Discover mechanic is pretty nice.
Yeah, the only problem is it has a yellow frame. The Paladin cards on average will give you 3 healing, and like 70% of them or something crazy like that is just useless.
Yeah, the problem are all the one mana secrets.
Yeah.
For this card. I've read that some people wanted to play it in Moloch Paladin to get like an additional anything can happen that heals for 10, and you can run 3 of them, which is the most greedy thing I've ever read.
Yeah.
And it most likely won't work.
Yeah, it won't work.
Is it a good card?
No.
I don't think you need heal in Paladin, right?
No, you don't. That's also a thing. But I think if it had a different frame around it, it would be a good card in a class that where it fits. But in Paladin, it's not a good card.
You
in
already
Druid,
have
it would be really good.
Forbidden healing.
Yeah. Or in Warrior, or in Mage, maybe. Yeah, Mage.
Yeah, anything that has no heal.
Yeah, or wants even more heal, because it's just all about heal.
Okay. Ironforge Portal. It's a red card, so it's Warrior, 5 mana, spell gain, 4 armor, summon a random 4 cost minion. Random seems to be like the keyword on every card in this expansion. It's so much fun if you just can play minions as spells because it buffs Karazhan. Gain 4 armor, summon a random forecast minion. Have you done the numbers on the forecast minions? Because I'm just like...
Forecast minions are really bad.
Really bad.
If it was a different mana pool of minions, it would probably be good, but the mana pool of 4 is so bad.
Okay, so basically it's an anti-value card, which gives you 4 armor, which you just don't need because it's so much worse than the other
4 armor
stuff.
is good in Warrior, I think. I think that, like, if it just wasn't 4 cost minions, it would be great. But it's the same reason that piloted Sky Golem didn't see play. 4 mana minions are just so bad.
Okay, we just move on. So it's basically a bad card. Yeah. For 4, 5 mana, Menagerie Magician. Battlecry, give a random friendly beast, dragon, and Murloc +2/+2. I think it's Battlecry, give a random friend. So you have to have them in game. I think there was another card with like random beast, dragon, and Murloc, right?
Yeah, there's 3 cards like that in there.
I think it's a bad card.
Yeah.
Because you can compare it to Houndmaster. So it's 1 mana more, it has 1 life more, and it will buff up to 3 cards, which never happens. It will buff most likely if you run a deck like this like once, and then it could be a decent card. It actually could be a decent card.
It could, if you're already winning on board.
Yeah.
And if you're playing beasts, dragons, and murlocs in your deck. Or beasts and dragons are actually likely. But the beasts and dragons are so huge that you're probably not going to have 2 of them at the same time in your board.
Yeah. Unless you run priest, because then you have like the cheaper dragons as well. But you don't want to run murlocs in priest and beast. I can't see that as well.
I see that happening. Beast, murloc, dragon, priest. That's like the only way maybe priest can get come back actually.
And I thought unicorn priest is a strange word. Okay, let's carry on. Arcanosmith, 4 mana, neutral card again, minion 3/2, battlecry, summon a 0/5 minion with taunt.
This card sucks.
I think so too. It could be good in... What can you do with a 0/5 taunt?
Sue.
In Sue.
I already tried making it seem good. It didn't work. I tried really hard and it was always bad.
Okay, so it's just a bad card, another bad card.
Because it's anti-value. You're paying too much for a card that shouldn't have these bad stats.
Yeah. Protect the King, 3 mana, warrior card. For each enemy minion, summon a 1/1 pawn with taunt.
Oh, but the Arcanosmith, it's not too bad in Sulok actually. But you don't want to play it in Sulok because it's not a class card.
Yeah, and it costs 4 mana and has to, like the other 4 mana cards are just better.
Yeah,
most
exactly.
Likely. Like Defender of Argus or even Iron Dwarf, Dark Iron Dwarf or Gormok.
Yeah, exactly.
Protect the King. I think this card is... I saw many people that said like this card is good, but I think it's a bad card.
Yeah, I think it's really bad. I don't know much about Control Warrior. I think maybe you can run 1 copy of this somehow.
Yeah, maybe 1.
But I don't think it's a good card in general. I think maybe Control Warrior can play it because sometimes it just delays the game, but then again, Ghoul is a card, and midrange is the name of the game.
Yeah.
So, and midrange is not good against.
Yeah, I think the only situation where this is good if you just play it and play Brawl the next turn.
Yeah.
Because it will just delay 1 turn and you get more value out of Brawl and like you buy yourself an additional turn and win the game out of it. But that's your only thing, and it's kind of unlikely to play it first and then like one of the brawls. Or how unlikely is it? Therefore, it would also be always a 1-off, never a 2-off. The problem with this card is it's only good if your opponent has 3 minions or more.
Yeah.
And then, like, the pawns won't help you too much. Maybe, like, if you play, like, the taunt warrior.
Oh yeah, that one. I've yet to see that being made, but...
Yeah, maybe then you can play it 2-off. This card is like Frost Nova but worse. Right, stand in blue, yeah. It's a good card to compare it. But the problem with it is that like so many things can go wrong with this Frost Nova. One relevant effect and it's not a Frost Nova anymore.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting card design.
Yeah, it is. It actually is a very interesting card design. And it could see play. A lot of these cards are very interesting and they have like but they're just not irrelevant because the problem with the game, like the problem with the game currently, none of these cards addresses. And so they're making answers to problems that are non-existent.
Yeah, and the problem is that they are interesting cards and they might be good or might be not good, but they won't be OP. And at the same time, they print OP cards, so they will always be worse than the OP cards.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. 3 mana, 2/3, Nightbind Templar. Battlecry, if you're holding a dragon, summon 2 1/1 whelps. So if you run it in a dragon paladin, which was like one of the things that people thought will be like the best thing ever when like the dragons came out, you'll always have this in yellow. As we all know, yellow dragon cards are insanely OP, so just give it to dragon paladin and it can become a thing maybe. How good is it? It's basically 4/5 for 3 mana, so it's insanely OP. Stats wise, if it's yellow, divided on. I think it's a really good card.
It is. I love the comparison a lot of people did, and when value wise is they looked at Technician instead, and that's a 3/5. And I said, oh, this card is just the same as Technician, it's not going to see play. But the main thing with this is that it's split among different entities, or not entities, different bodies.
Yeah.
So you get the value of kings, you get the value of Uldaman, you get the value of just trading better in general, which makes a huge difference, honestly. And it's a class card, and class cards have better stats, and this card does have better stats than Technician, but not by a lot.
Yeah, but it will give you opportunity to play your curve. Because it will, as you said, buff like Keep of Uldaman and Blessing of Kings a lot.
Yeah, and those cards are great.
And if you buff your great cards, and yeah.
Yeah, there's not much to say, I just think it's really good.
Okay.
I hope I can play mid-range Paladin after this.
Dragon mid-range Paladin could be a thing.
Yeah, Flamingo also said it would be a thing.
Yeah. 3 mana, 3/3 Mech Zubot. Battlecry, give a random friendly beast dragon and Moloch +1/+1. Okay, they really want to play a beast dragon Moloch deck.
Yeah, I don't know why.
It's a good card if it hits one target.
It's a good card if you can play Sulak with beast dragons and Murlocs. The question is, can you do that? Maybe you actually can. That's what I was thinking about.
You have Direwolf Alpha as a beast. You have no Molochs unless...
Oh, you have the 2 mana 2/1. Bilfin.
Yeah, Bilfin, yeah, Bilfin is a thing. Bilfin, right. And dragons, you don't run dragons in Zoo, but you could play a Zoo Drake in some decks.
Yeah.
And you could, what are also like neutral beasts that are strong? The Kodo pops up. Molochs are Sir Finley. in most decks. So you could make a deck around the synergies. And if you just take a beast deck and put one dragon in it and one murloc, or like a murloc deck and add one beast and a dragon, or a dragon deck and add one beast and one murloc, could work. But I actually don't know. Has to be built. Kindly Grandmother. 2 mana, 1/1 beast. Death Rattle. Summon a 3/2 Big Bad Wolf. Big Bad Wolf is also a beast. Obviously.
Yeah.
If Grandmother is a priest, then the wolf is also a beast. Most people think that this card is really, really bad. I think it's not good, but it's way better than every other 2-drop you can play in Hunter right now.
Yeah.
Which says it's an auto-include twice. Because it will buff Houndmaster. At the moment you can only play one Houndmaster in the decks. And maybe this card is enough to play Houndmaster twice. It's also good in End-Sword decks, obviously. So maybe you can add just like a 10-drop if you need to, which is kind of greedy because you always run like the 8-drop twice. But you could just play End-Sword on top of this and you would crush every warrior, I guess. Every slower deck.
Yeah.
So tournament-wise, it's also really good to add End-Sword.
I think it's a good card.
Yeah.
But I think it's overrated by some. Some gave it like a 9 out of 10 or something. I don't think it's that good. Because I think it's... like I said this earlier, I said this a lot of times in the past, it has 1 attack.
Yeah. But...
So I think like...
But it doesn't matter because just look at the hybrid lists. They run buffs.
Yeah,
it's good to have a token.
I know it's good.
Rattle.
But I don't think it's overpowered, or I don't think it's that good.
I think it will buff the hybrid lists a lot.
Yeah, it will.
Oh, that's
But if you're getting
actually
like a
interesting.
9 out of 10, it's like a creeper, I think. It's not Haunted Creeper.
It's not Haunted Creeper, my cam is... Ah yeah, autofocus. Because you can build something like a faster hybrid list with double Houndmaster. Because at the moment, at the current hybrid list, it's a huge problem that you can only run the 3/3 Death Rattle Wolf, the invested Wolf in the 4 mana slot, because it's most likely tempo-wise the worst card you can play, and it hurts your deck a lot. So I think this card will mainly buff Tempo Hunter. I first thought it will only buff the midrange or the Death Rattle Hunter, but yeah.
I thought it was Hybrid Hunter, it would fit the best time because you play Abusive Sergeant.
Yeah, Abusive and Direwolf Alpha.
Yeah.
And it also buffs Princess Huhuran.
Huhuran, okay.
Huhuran.
I don't
think you can still play it, but...
Yeah, I don't think you can still play it. I'm kind of unsure why, actually. But I guess... And I know why. It's because it's too hard to get value of it in Hunter, because you don't have enough cards in your hand. And usually you proc the Death Rattles.
Yeah, but if you just fill out the curve with Death Rattle minions, you can just play curve.
Yeah, if you have enough of them.
Yeah.
And maybe you do now.
Yeah, I think it's a really good card. Let's move on.
Yeah, that's all.
It's a weapon, it's a shaman card, it's 1 mana, it's 1/3, has 2 attack while you have spell damage. Which is unlikely.
Yeah.
So you can play Talnos, you can play Azuldrax and your totems, and then it's most likely still unlikely.
Yeah. Wait. What was I thinking about this card? Oh yeah, it's a good card. Because it's, like, if you get to attack 1 minion with this, it's already value. If it's a 3/3, right?
Yeah.
But there isn't enough cards in the game currently to make it good. But it is a good card in general, I think.
Okay, let's move on.
Yeah.
Malchazar's Imp. Warlock card, 1 mana, 1/3. Whenever you discard a card, draw a card. This card is insane. Really good.
This card is probably like almost broken.
This card is better than Voidwalker because it has soft taunt.
Yeah. If you leave this up,
Voidwalker is just an auto include.
Yeah, exactly. And if you leave it up, and they can play Doomguard next turn, like you have to kill it. It's a 1-drop. That's crazy for a 1-drop.
Yeah, turn 6, Marcus has Imp into Doomguard into E mode.
Yeah,
by your
it's gonna be a
opponent.
lot of games like that. I can see my opponent do that actually. He has like 8 mana or something, then he taps, and then plays this into Doomguard, and it's like, wow.
No, he doesn't tap. He plays. He has like 4 cards, 8 mana. He plays this card, Doomguard,
Oh yeah.
and plays another card after Doomguard.
Yeah.
Like he buffs the Doomguard with PO and abuses Sergeant afterwards and kills you.
I can see that happening.
This card is
really, really strong.
insanely
This card
broken.
I would give 9 out of 10.
Yeah, because this card will make the discard Warlock even better.
Yeah.
Like the Zoo, discard Warlock didn't actually need this card, I think, but this will just make it available.
I think without this card, it would be like tier 3, tier 2. With this card, it can be like tier 2, tier 1.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's meta breaking, actually, this card.
Yeah. And the 2 cards he discards are silver golems. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, what happens then? You get the 3/3s, but you discard them, so you also get like 2 cards. Yeah, that will be fun.
Cards, 2 3/3s, Doomguard, and this. That's just over, like.
It's just like GG next game.
Yeah.
Okay. So, 3,
attractive.
5. We have like 10 cards left, I think. The Curator. Yeah, that's the card I meant.
Ooh.
7 mana for 6. It's a mech again?
Yeah.
Why are they printing mechs nowadays?
Why not?
Because they will come back like next expansion or the one
exactly.
afterwards.
Next expansion is going to be the return of the mechs.
Yeah.
Or the return of golems versus gnomes. Then we'll get a bunch of Dr. Brooms and mechs again.
Yeah. Random stuff.
Yeah.
Taunt, Battlecry, draw Beast Dragon and Moloch from your deck. This card is very good.
Yeah. I think this is the best card from the set.
Because it is compared to Ancient of Lore, which drew 2 cards, but with this card you get like minions basically. Is this good or bad? This is like not too good.
The fact you're getting minions is not always the best. Sometimes you just want the spells.
Yeah.
But doesn't matter because the card is like stat-wise just broken, so.
And it has taunt, so it's way better stats-wise than the Ancient of Lore, the pre-nerf Ancient of Lore we're talking about. And you can easily add this to like the Beast Root, because you just play Azure Drakes, you play Beasts, and you can add like Sir Finley. And if you just draw all of these cards, yeah.
Imagine the scenario where they play Strangletron Tiger, the new 6 mana OP drop, and you're like, yeah, I have Brawl, okay, I can maybe Stabilize. Then he plays this card and he draws 3 cards from this, and it's like...
Yeah,
Wow.
I think in Bistro this thing is really strong.
Yeah, it's card draw.
Yeah, it's card draw, and you need card draw. The question is it better than Nourish, and I think it might be better than
Yeah, it
Nourish.
is, I think.
So we will see this card in Beast Root, which will be the best deck around.
Yeah, probably. Or no, I don't think it will be the best deck because it is. You can maybe counter it. I think.
You can
Never mind, you
maybe
can't counter
counter
it.
it with
It's
the
just
discard lock.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because it deals with minions really easily, with Soulfire. So
Yeah.
maybe some kind of suit lock can counter it.
Okay. So choose a friendly beast, summon a copy of it. 6 mana, it's a beast, it's a druid card, it's 5/5. And this is most likely the best card in the set, in my opinion. Because what happens? You play turn 5 either a Druid of the Claw, 4/6 taunt. Your opponent can't kill it. You just copy it on curve with a 5/5. So you get like maybe a 4/6 and a 5/5 for 6 mana, which is like having 2 turns, stats wise. Or you just play Strengthenthorn Tiger as a 5/5 beast. It's cloaked, and your opponent can't do nothing about it, and you just copy it, and you get 10/10 stats for 6 mana on curve. Which means GG next game and emote.
Yeah.
This card is like the most stupid, one of the most stupid cards I've seen in Hearthstone. Ever. Card design wise.
Yep. Don't have anything to add really.
This card makes me, cards like this just makes me mad. Because if you think like 3 minutes of it as a card developer, you should immediately like, yeah, I just move on. It's just like the best card, and it's OP, and yeah, it's yellow, and it's another yellow card. Okay, so 5 mana. It's a Warlock card, Karazhan. Summon a 1/1 candle, 2/2 broom, and a 3/3 teapot. So it's 6/6 stats for 5 mana.
Force
divided. Force of nature stats. I think it's interesting that it's a spell, because Warlock doesn't have many spells, but you could play it in an old school Zoo. You could play it in an old school Zoo with double sea giants, or maybe in a token Zoo with the 1/1 instead of Forbidden Ritual, but I think Forbidden Ritual should just be better, right? I'm not too sure about that.
I think when I first saw this card, I thought it was good. I don't think it's that good anymore, but the reason that I first thought it was good because you can make a Sulak where on every single curve you can play cards that he has to respond with, or respond to with an AoE.
Yeah.
But that being said, I changed my opinion because everyone thinks it's bad, and it's probably bad.
The thing is that like a token Zoo deck will just not be as good as the discard block, right?
Yeah, and also in the token Zoo deck, it's like
Unleash the Kitchen.
probably not that good. Yeah, that should have been the name of it. Why
nice
wasn't
one,
that the
Shorty.
name?
Yeah, Unleash the Kitchen.
Should have been like, instead of the broom, it should have been like a teapot, or no, not a teapot, cooking pan, and the candle should have been like a fork, and it should have been like Unleash the Kitchen. That would have been so much better.
Am I the only one that always thinks of Disney's how it's called, the Beauty and the Beast?
Yeah, no, you're not the only one.
It's just like, how could Walt Disney, how could Blizzard do this? Because Walt Disney always used like everyone that uses a tea can.
Maybe he doesn't see it, or they don't see it. He's obviously done, but
Yeah, I think like Blizzard will get sued for this.
they might.
Misplay designer Blizzard.
Another misplay.
Call of the Kitchen is also nice, yeah. I think it could be a decent card in some kind of decks, but those decks won't be too good, I guess.
Yeah.
But I'm not too sure. Maybe we'll see it.
I will definitely make a deck with this. Probably won't be good though.
I think token will be kind of good because it's good against other zoos. So it could be good against discard zoo, but I'm not too sure about that. And it could be good against Beast Druid. So therefore it might be playable. Onyx Bishop. It's a white card, so we won't see it at all. 5 mana 3/4. Battlecry, summon a friendly minion that died this game.
Yeah, this card is really bad.
Yeah, we already have Resurrect, which doesn't see play, and this is like Resurrect and the 3/4 combined, which
It's actually not that bad, because if you can make a deck around it, it's good and stuff like that. But there's really no point in talking about that. If that ever happens in the future where you can make a deck around this, it's cool, but you can't currently. So talking about it is just like so irrelevant.
Yeah. Barnes, 4 mana 3/4, legendary card, and Battlecry. Summon a 1/1 copy of a random minion in your deck. It was one of the first cards that was released, and many people talked a lot of things about it. And obviously, it's playable in Reno decks or in Death Rattle decks. And if you get like a Ragnaros and Antonidas or a Sylvanas out of it, it's pretty good. I actually don't know if those decks will be. I think it's a good card overall.
Yeah, I think it's a good card. It's not good for the game, but it's a good card.
Yeah, because it's like having like 5 minions in a deck, and if you copy 2 of them, you immediately win the game, and if you copy the other 3, it's still like a 4/5 for 4 mana, which is not fun.
Yeah.
So it's almost as good as, say, like an OP card, right?
Yeah.
Cloaked Huntress. That's an interesting card. It's a hunter card. It's 3 mana 3/4 minion. Your secrets cost 0. All your
secrets. You can play
secrets.
this with only freezing trap, and then it might be good.
Yeah. The point is that I'm really sad because like the hunter lists, most of them run no secrets because secrets on their own and with only the effect of buffing Eaglehornborn are not strong enough at the moment. Or like they could be strong enough, but nobody plays it. And this card will change it. So we probably won't only see like the best secret, which is Freezing Trap, but also other secrets. It's an auto-include in like Yoken Load Hunter, of course, but I don't talk about Yoken Load Hunter. And in the 3 mana slot, you have many strong cards. But most of the time, no cards that you want to play on curve, because you have Unleash in that slot, you have Kill Command, Deadly Shot, and so you need maybe Dreadscale, and you have Animal Companion, which is the only card you play on curve normally. And this card is also playable on curve, which buffs Midrange Hunter insanely, because all you want to do is playing like power creeps on curve. And this is a kind of power creep. The only thing is it's no beast. If it was a beast, it would be insanely OP. And but it's still very strong. If you have like 1 or 2 traps in your hand, it's like tempo. And getting Freezing Trap out of it will also give you an additional tempo advantage. So it also buffs like the faster versions of Hunter, which I like.
Yeah. It's a good card. Only problem is you're emptying your hand too much. It's the only thing that I see. It could be a problem, but I think the card is so strong that it will see play even if that becomes a problem.
Yeah.
Because it is just really, really strong. If you play 2 secrets with this on turn 3, and that's incredibly strong.
There's an argument in the chat if it's permanent. As long as this creature lives, your secrets cost 0. I mean,
yeah.
It's not Battle Cry.
But you wouldn't play this in a normal beast mid-range one because it empties your hand too much. I think you want to play this in something that is faster.
I'm not too sure because you can build like fast lists because you have Call of the Wild.
Yeah.
And you play double deadly.
And you always play Call of the Wild, but
yeah. And you have double quick shot, so it's a tempo list. You can't really build an aggro list around it, I guess.
Not an aggro list, but I think this buffs Hybrid Hunter more than it buffs normal Beast.
Yeah, exactly. And normal Beast Hunter has the problem that you want to play Camel in the slot.
Yeah. Okay.
I like this card a lot.
Yeah, it's good. Moving on. 3
mana, 1/3 Beast, Pantry Spider, Battlecry summon a 1/3 spider, which most likely is also a beast, question mark?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So... this is just bad, right?
Yeah. It's really bad.
Okay, I think we can go on. Cat trick. Secret. After your opponent casts a spell, summon a 4/2 Panther with stealth. I like the secret because your opponent... after your opponent casts a spell. So he casts a spell and then this triggers, or? So if he casts an AoE, the cat also dies.
Yeah.
So that's bad. So it won't prevent AoE damage. If it was the other way around, it would be like really, really OP against AoEs. And I think it's okay. It's not the best secret in the world.
Is it better than the existing secrets?
It's not better than Freezing Trap tempo-wise. The Panther has stars. It's kinda nice. It depends on the meta, I guess. Because most decks can't just play around. I heard it's before AoE damage. Yeah, it has to be before AoE damage. Spell gets played, secret triggers, AoE damage comes in on the creature as well, I guess. Secret Hunter gets buffed, yeah. And also like the other card gets buffed. It's good that there's an additional secret. No matter how good or bad it is, as long as it could see play, it buffs all other secrets. Because your opponent has to play around more secrets then. That's the basic upside of this card.
Yeah.
Best tempo secret? It might be the best tempo secret, yes.
Tempo-wise, yes.
Tempo-wise it's really strong, so it's a really strong secret as well. Medivh Valet. 2 mana, 2/3, mage card, Battlecry. If you control a secret, deal 3 damage. So it's a tempo mage card, but you can't play it on curve. So basically it most of the time will be... Wait, can you just say where the 3 damage land?
Wait, what? Wait, say that again.
If you control a secret, deal 3 damage, you can't just say where the 3 damage will go. Right?
Yeah. It's a good card.
It's a good card, yeah.
But it won't see play.
Yeah, because it's good in... It will see play. Or
After this expansion?
in Reno Mage?
No.
Not enough secrets, so...
Yeah, and the secret's proc too easily.
Yeah.
So you have to play it on turn 5 as a 5 mana 2/3 that plays the secret from your hand and deals you damage. Which is not that good.
It's just like a Frostbolt and a minion in once.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Still a good card, but yeah. Arcane Anomaly. 1 mana 2/1. Whenever you cast a spell, give this minion +1 health. That's actually a pretty good card for Tempo Mage.
Yeah, but it dies way too easily. That's the problem. You can't play it on turn 1. You have to play it on another curve, and then the 1-drop's just irrelevant.
A 2/1 on turn 1 is still good. And if you have the coin, it's always like 2/2 for 1 mana. I think it's worse than Mana Worm, but I think it's a really good card. We might see it in Tempo Mage, because it will just make the deck even faster.
I don't think so.
You don't like
I
that?
think if you play this with a 1 mana spell, it's a 2/2. If you play it on turn 1, then it's bad. So you have to play it with a spell in your hand on turn 2.
Actually no, because it will survive turn 1 and deal 2 damage, which is good. Just think of it as it was a Face Hunter and you play it. Then it would be awesome. And if you build like a Tempo Mage that is like really pretty aggro, then it's a really good card. And it makes tempo mage, as Stan in Blue says, more consistent because you can run more 1-drops. You can play on curve, which is important in a new meta, I guess. I'll just go on, so we finish this quick.
Yeah.
Last card. 1 mana, Runic Egg, Death Rattle, draw a card, 0/2. I think it's a good card. Surprisingly.
What? You do? What deck would you play it in?
Sulok. Maybe even discard Sulok.
Isn't Dragon Egg better?
Maybe discard Sulok because you can dodge the discard effects.
Oh yeah, that's true actually. Yeah.
Because it's just like holding 1 card, you play it on board and you still draw the card afterwards. So you cheat the discard effects. And you have enough buffs to play it in those decks. It might be an auto-include in discard lock. So.
Yeah, maybe because you need card draw, that's true actually. I didn't think about that. I still have a hard time seeing it happen. But maybe because it depends on how the discard Sulok deck plays. I don't know how it plays, that's a problem. If it plays more hybrid luck-ish, or mid-range, then this card should be really good in that actually. Because you need a lot of cards in your hand. But if it plays like aggro, then you just want to play the Dragon Egg instead.
Yeah, it depends how... Because in the discard log, I think like if you run this 3/3 guy, you have to dump your hand immediately. So you have to build the deck with a lot of 1-drops to get more value out of the discard effects by not discarding cards and by discarding the 3/3 guys, for sure. And with this one you can refill your hand faster than just live tapping. I think it might be a key card in those decks. Mage can ping it twice to draw a card.
I saw it.
Yeah, it's only 5 mana, play 1 card, draw 1 card. You could compare this card to Loot Hoarder and Novice Engineer. Maybe even more to Loot Hoarder. It's basically the same.
Not too bad. But it's only in 1 deck. So in general the card isn't good. But because there's 1 deck might need it, then it could be good.
Yeah, it's because it's the only deck that runs enough buffs. You could play it in like Paladin, but there it's just not strong enough. So even in Su it could be playable, but there it shouldn't be strong enough. I think, I'm not too sure. But with the cheating effect on the discard log, it might be like just the edge that buffs this card really.
But also it might be that you have to have less cards in your hand for this card to be reliable. It just depends on how this deck plays.
Yeah.
It's really hard to say.
Yeah, I think it will see play in those decks. But if we have to... I'm not sure if you need it there.
Yeah.
Okay, so actually that was the last card. That was our whole review.
Nice.
I hope you liked it. Thanks for joining, Xzirez. Also check out his Twitch. It's Twitch TV/VBSoft. It's in the chat. And I will upload this to YouTube, I guess, and I'll highlight it as well.
Okay, nice.